RTD Live Talk, Detroit's #1 late night YouTube talk show. We are live for a midnight or midweek Wednesday night live stream. Excited to be back. And of course, a lot of things worth talking about. And of course, I couldn't help myself, but I came across an article thanks to the community members. I believe it's Daryl, if I'm not mistaken, for sharing in the Discord chat some great articles that I'm going to touch on tonight. So, but universal basic allowance, it looks like direct monthly payments for being a parent is what the Democrats are looking to roll out. So we're going to talk about that, as well as all the other things happening on Wall Street and the possibilities of some type of correction on Wall Street casinos. So looking forward to sharing a couple articles and getting your guys' thoughts on whatever else is out there. So it's always welcome. Let me know who's watching via chat. Feel free to let me know where you're watching from, and I'll give you a shout out in the chat. And then when the phone lines are open right here, give me a call. I want to hear from you guys. All right, so let's dive right in. And so I would dump in. We got Monkey King in the building, low blood pressure in the tub. Let me dry my fingers to chat. Okay. What else? We got Todd. We got Freedom Promise. We got Hello World, Jordan, Kenneth, JB, Truth or Nothing, Jim Diggs, Philman. Okay. It says, Philman off bat with a question. It says, when will they release the 1,400 stimulus? Yeah, be patient. Be patient, because it's not a matter of, I guess when. It's more so how much on top of that. And I'm more than convinced, after having a chance to get caught up into some very technical things, especially I think it was Brando who mentioned checking out an article that was given by the Fed. And I will grab it in a minute. But based upon the current environment we're in now, and I remember Jerome Powell over the last year plus begging Congress to get involved, because he is basically saying that monetary policy alone can't save this economy. And so fiscal policy is needed. And based upon the actions that I believe that they're going to roll out there, they're going to have to come out with a lot more than just $1,400. So fiscal policy is a must if there's any type of quest in the Federal Reserve being able to reach their inflation targets. And so that means more programs. And so this leads you into tonight's discussion. So, Phil, to answer your question, the 1,400 might be dialed back a little bit, because I guess between now and that Build Back Better relief bill, which is the fourth one that's coming total, the third bill, the American Relief Plan, they may have to negotiate on some things with that, which is probably knocked that 1,400 down to probably 600. So I would anticipate, in all honesty, them coming out with that 600 from a couple of weeks ago, whatever it was, and to another 600 to equate to 1,200. But then if they roll out the universal basic allowance from a parents out there, you're going to get something monthly per child, which can make up the difference. So let me start ranting. I'm going to jump right in. And so we got here. I'm going to pronounce that wrong, but Inawala says negative 800 points. I'm assuming you're talking about the futures for. Oh yeah, okay. So I can just jump in real quick. And so I was going to get into the fact that I'm anticipating some type of stock market carnage tomorrow, and factored in that there's extra pressures now. There's extra pressure on the Wall Street casino to really save their own hinds, given that looks like the Wall Street bets, that group of individuals, it looks like some big money players out there, is out to get a lot of those financial products and to basically hurt the hedge funds. So there's a lot of issues going to come about with that. But let me start ranting and get into some articles real quick. So, I thought I would lead with this one, because this is right in line with what I think is more to come as far as that stimulus or direct payments. But here's something that is being brought forth pretty soon. It says Democrats are setting the stage to propose 300 monthly direct payments for families with children under 17. And so I just thumbed through that. So basically, this is a old bill from 2019 from an Ohio senator, and it was just recently put forward again. And because it's one of those things, we're in that time frame where, as I mentioned the other day, President-select Biden or whatever, he wants to focus on poverty and alleviating poverty. So what better way to fight poverty other than just to fiscally stimulate things? And so this bill here will be brought forth. And it's one of them things where, because it's going to be designated for families and especially those families with, maybe more than 2 or 3 kids. They're going to say, how can you not want to support families that are hurting out here? So they love to play on people's emotions by saying it's for the kids. Let's get the kids out of poverty and put food on the table. It's our duty. So here's some highlights here. Just to give you an idea, it says the Democrats are drafting legislation to have the IRS send monthly payments up to $300 to the families. People could opt out to receive monthly payments or a lump sum when you do your taxes. Go down here, more details. It says a preliminary version of the plan will put the IRS in charge of 300 monthly payments for each child younger than 6, and 250 each month for kids aged 6 to 17. It would amount to about 3,600 yearly for younger kids and 3,000 for older ones. So this is just for the kids, not to mention the adults. So the adults will probably be something else that will be included in that. So this is the type of stuff that we're going to hear more about. And this year is going to be, what better year to come out swinging for what appears to be a new administration other than to just fiscally charge things up. And so, as I mentioned, it was a part of the American Family Act, which came out in 2019. And it says this is something that really unites the Democratic caucus, and everyone has a goal of reducing poverty. And so they're going to try to fight poverty with an allowance from Uncle Sam at a time where, that's the only way they can keep this thing moving is fiscally get involved, because they are not able to get their actual inflation targets the way that Jerome Powell today will have us to believe that it's just hard to get. And so, of course, as a result of Jerome Powell speaking today, more of the same. He looked a little shooken, and based upon the fact that his mandates, obviously, what I'm getting at and what I'm thinking is going to happen any minute now to further assist this fiscal stuff is that they're going to have to change those mandates of maximum employment and price stability, because nobody in their right mind believes that that is anything that they can accomplish, because they've actually exhausted all of their tools that are actually quite effective. So they have to begin addressing those mandates, which will ultimately lead in the fiscal and monetary collision course of the merger of those two entities, as I've talked about several times before, and the readjustment of those mandates to include some other things. And the mandates will ultimately have to shift to addressing the need to roll out that digital stuff. They're going to have to address that, because that's not a part of the mandate as of now. And that charter is 107 years old, so it's outdated. And so they're going to have to do something with that. So Jay says UBI to hook everyone that makes then make the jabs mandatory, no doubt. And so that's going to be a part of the package as well. Mind you, we have several different release packages between now and December, based upon the way as a video I watched earlier from Steve Van Meter about the liquidity trap, based upon the fact that the Federal Reserve's actions have trapped themselves by being basically at near zero, with the continuation of the same policies that have not proven to help them reach their targets of maximum employment and price stability. They're putting themselves in a very tight position to where the only way they're going to be able to have some type of aid will come from the fiscal policy. So that will lead to more of a need to put out more programs. So the government's going to be responsible for introducing more bills to get funds into the hands of the public. And of course, all the debts just being, furloughed and pushed down further, which is going to have to be taken care of at some point. So Uncle Sam will probably take on a good portion of the mortgage debt, rent debt, car loan debt, credit card debt. It's going to be taken on Uncle Sam's balance sheet probably. But anyway, okay, let's keep it moving. Of course, so how can we not forget about what's going on Wall Street, man? And so the Wall Street bets, and I'm going to dive in further. So I've been trying to wrap my head around all that. But GameStop a couple days ago apparently led the charge, went from, I heard, $6 to up to $300 within a 72-hour period, putting a certain hedge funds in a very tight pinch, which forced them to lose billions of dollars and having to get other hedge funds involved to cover those losses. And so I think, and of course, according to the Wall Street bets, let me actually, I'll show you what I mean. And once again, a lot of this article here, I want to give credit to where credit is due. It comes from the community. And so I appreciate the individuals in the chat, or I'm sorry, in the Discord group that share articles throughout the day that I'm able to read through. So it definitely helps to have a team out there of individuals combing the news. But here is a screenshot here. And so this is something that was put into the Discord chat, basically saying that now the SEC, the White House, Janet Yellen, Jerome Powell, all these, Wall Street friendly individuals are now focused on this entity called the Wall Street Bets and how they are literally attacking the rigged casino that has been rigged against the people since day one. Now, when they get a dose of their own medicine, they can't handle that because it disrupts their plans of keeping this stock market, Wall Street friendly. And so when you have hedge funds in trouble, so now they're attacking this Wall Street's bet group or club or whoever they are. And so they're being banned. So Reddit, I think, might have taken them down. Discord just took them down. And so they're being taken down so they can't gather on these social media platforms. So this is it has some good and some bad behind it because it's the pros are here we have entity, not sure who's all involved, but they are trying to basically call out these hedge funds that are literally trying to manipulate and destroy companies by shorting them and trying to ruin their financial futures. And so the game's been put on the other foot and it doesn't feel too comfortable. So it says, tomorrow we will fight back harder than we fought all year. This is a direct attack to completely silence the 1%. F Wall Street, F the shorts, F everyone who dare defy the artists. So I'd imagine if this, is a legitimate post from that group, then they're going to definitely cause some havoc tomorrow in the equities market. So this could be the catalyst that leads towards that next correction that, of course, we're all anticipating, and we'll see. But a couple more articles here that I'm gonna stop ranting and give you guys a chance to talk. And so here is another little article here from the Discord chat with more information as to the other companies that they've been the Wall Street's bets have been actually supporting by basically pumping up their share prices, something fierce. And so, of course, there's a lot of individuals. Of course, TD Ameritrade had to stop trading and whatnot. And a lot of these, apps that were designed to suck in retail funds at their own detriment to prop up and to support all these hedge funds that got the inside scoop. They're hurting. And so we got a lot of activity happening behind the scenes, which is it's quite entertaining, I must admit, man, because it doesn't feel good when your own game that you rigged against the people and the people are now fighting back in a sense. So it's interesting, man. But anyway, let me stop ranting. I got one more article here I'm gonna share, and then I'm gonna call it in the quits. But here's an article here that came from the Discord chat as well. It says pandemic era central banks is creating bubbles everywhere, and so. Basic premise of the article, it comes from it looks like a cryptocurrency, a Bitcoin centric individual, but made a lot of interesting points here. Basically saying that, cheap money provided by central banks have been inflating assets and reshaping how we save, invest, and spend. So what's next? And that's a great point. And so over the last decade plus, ever since the financial markets as well as the global economy really really came to an end back at the last great financial crisis, everybody's had to adjust their financial strategies as well as investment tactics. Even the hedge funds have now had to take on more risk and do all types of, they've created so many products over the last 10 years to try to earn some yield. And then you think about the pension funds that were promised 7% returns for the last umpteen decades now are really realistically probably getting 2 or 3, if that. And then they've had to take on more products that are even riskier. And so it's basically central banks have distorted any type of price discovery, any type of way of preserving your financial futures because of this current debt cycle coming to an end and credit cycle coming to an end. And so you have central banks doing exactly what they're supposed to do. And here's a little graph here. It shows, the government's load up on debt. And so basically everything the central banks have done over the last 100 years for the Federal Reserve especially has been to prop up Uncle Sam and to take care of Uncle Sam, to allow Uncle Sam to run deficits as well as make all those promises that can never be repaid. But the balance sheets are the issue here. And so just a couple more things, I'll start ranting. But it says central banks know what they are doing, basically lowering the return of safe assets to increase the demand for risky ones. And so to me, what does that mean? If you can't park funds in a bank and let it grow naturally, you have to then spend it and put it out into the economy into riskier things, such as equity markets, which is the biggest bubble probably of all times pretty soon, if not already. The housing market, extremely unaffordable. Auto sales, credit cards. So all these riskier things people are forced to do because you can't park funds and let it grow naturally anymore. You got to go out there and chase yield. It says once you do that, you know a bubble might appear, but the cost of not doing it, anything is probably even higher. And let's get some more information here. And then it says here, there's no doubt that massive monetary injections have made it easier for cash-strapped governments to fund budget deficits. And then the last one here says the low yield environment is leading more companies to say, let's put our money in Bitcoin. I am working 17, 18 hours a day and taking naps when I can in the office. All our metrics are way up. And so that right there, as I mentioned, individuals are very crypto friendly, crypto centric. But when you have hedge fund managers, MicroStrategy, which is a computer software company, basically taking their entire balance sheet and their savings and putting it into something speculative that's 10 years old and putting a lot of confidence into it, that lets me know that confidence in the system and especially currencies are gone. And of course, my model has always been to get your weight up. And so right now there's pressure in the metals markets as well. And based upon some commentators I've seen, they're expecting another dip. So we could possibly, due to this whole liquidity aspect or lack thereof, we could actually see a pullback in the metals prices as well. So once again, never sleep on that. So any opportunity you get to acquire something real and physical in your possession can be an opportunity for you. So keep that in mind. But let me keep it moving. Okay, so everything now says, Mike, IPO your channel, RTD ticker. I actually think there is a ticker out there, RTD. There's a lot of RTD, companies and things of that nature. So I'm not sure if I can do that. But Jay says AMC is closed where I live. How could their stock be rising? I know fundamentals don't matter. Right. So Jay, that's a great point. So you have those Wall Street bets, that Wall Street bet group, which appears to be a collective group of people pooling their funds together, and they're strategically targeting who to go prop up and who to go buy. And then when people see momentum upwards, you'll be a fool, if you are in this trading game, to jump in as well, because more than likely the trend gonna take you higher. And then you got more fresh funds coming in. You got these young people who now trade professionally from their phone via Robinhood and all the other places, creates momentum. You got AMC, and the AMC open in my area, but yet the company basically they're issued new debt to stay open. They're all these companies are basically operating on a lifeline. The lifeline of the fact that people aren't spending and consuming their products in the way they used to. All these companies are saturated with debt. So the only thing they can do is basically, and that's why the hedge fund managers, all those hedge funds that are actually out there positioning themselves against these entities, that's why the Wall Street's bet group, I guess started attacking that. Let me pull it up here. That's why the Wall Street Bet Group basically started to attack that Melvin Capital, or I'm sorry, what is it called? Let me see if I can find that real quick. Main Street Capital. No, I forgot the name of this. I forgot the name of the capital of that first market capital, whatever. I think it's market capital. But anyway, so that's kind of what's up, man. But anyway, enough of me ranting. Let's open up the phone lines. Let's talk. Let me hear from you guys. What do you guys want to cover? We can talk about it. And that's another thing. The hedge funds, typically speaking, they're not retail investors' friends. They operate in the best interest of high net worth individuals. So typically, to my knowledge, a lot of the hedge funds, they pool the funds of a lot of rich investors, and they go out there and they look for opportunities. And of course, those opportunities comes at the loss of somebody, and in return, and obviously, in regards to the whole depressed economy we're in with the lockdowns and whatnot, there's more than enough restaurant chains, retail mall, all those companies hurting. Those guys are trying to pounce on them and profit off of that destruction, which is a part of the game. But yet, when the game is turned on them, they don't like that. So expect tomorrow to be some new type of investigations. And so I saw another tweet or post out there where the SEC or one of the regulatory bodies reached out to try to contact the Wall Street Bets group to find out who's how, who, what, where, and they said basically, I can't say it on air, but they insinuated that particular governing body, I'm trying to say this in a family friendly way, that I can't even say it. That's how bad it was, but it was funny. Anyway, I'm ranting. Let's talk. All right, phone lines are open, man. I promise I'm gonna stop ranting and give you guys a chance to share what's on your mind. Give me a call. Let's talk. 313-462-0027. Share a quick thought or a quick idea or a quick question. Try to get as many people as possible. And I'm going to actually try to count. Hello, caller. Which day were you calling from?
From Jersey. How you doing, Mike?
I'm doing good, my friend. What's on your mind tonight?
All right. So couple things. One, the Dixie shows like it's trying to break out, and the Dixie is the dollar index. So it looks like the dollar wants to raise, and if it does raise, and then you could see like the market start to go down because the market is all debt related, and then strong dollars they want. So they have to figure out what's going to happen in that situation. The other thing too is this Janet Yellen there is all MMT, right? So now they're going to start off with the small amount of $300. That's the initial starting point, because anytime the government starts anything and they say they're going to stop, it's always not so. It's the opposite. So you'll see that 300 start with kids, and eventually that number starts to raise up.
Yeah.
So, and that number has to raise up because if you look at the fact of the velocity, velocity of money isn't moving, right?
Yeah.
So if the velocity of the money is not moving for like the last 20 years, and it means it's stuck on all these baby boomers, and all the rich are hoarding the money.
Yeah.
So now you have a velocity issue. So this administration going in, they're going to have to start to create velocity, get the money, the helicopter money into the people. They're going to tax the rich people to death, and they're going to try to equalize the system, because like you can't have one extreme to the other.
Yeah.
Right. So now you're going to have to get taxed, and the rich are going to have to pay because they need to be able to readjust the system.
Right.
Because it's basically showing that the velocity of money isn't moving. It's trapped.
Yeah.
So you need to start to create some sort of middle class in a sense. But how are you going to do that when we're not a producing country?
Right.
It's 30.
Right. Good points, man. Hey, you laid it out for us, man. Everything you mentioned, I'll try to pull up a graph to show your point. So I appreciate you, my man, for sharing those insights. All right, man. That was some good stuff there. Right, so definitely hit it all on the nail. Man, that was right on point. So I appreciate the caller for calling in and sharing those insights. Yeah, man. So we got the M2 right here trying his best to creep his way up, but not moving fast enough to help them get this economy back rolling. And so back to the point about cash. And so we've noticed the M2 going up. And so more, I think starting in 2018, I remember talking about how a lot of institutions, a lot of big money players were buying gold, and also they were already dumping shares of stock. So no real players actually own the stocks. They're all betting against it now, but they were getting out of equities and getting into cash, anticipating a day where a fire sale would take place. So a fire sale took place in March of last year when everything dipped, but I think the real fire sale was probably coming pretty soon. And so you have, of course, I think Warren Buffett. I remember last year, 2 years ago, talking Warren Buffett was sitting on 300, 400 million or something like that in cash. And I was saying that all the people, especially the millionaires and billionaires, they're heavy cash. Because, yeah, you can't really put it anywhere. You can't invest it in long-term bonds because you ain't going to get no interest. So you're better off sitting in cash and just waiting for the fire sale. So that's interesting topics. So we got Rolf here says you got a helicopter drop $100K on every American, only solution, really. Yeah, and that's not, that'll you can paper over people, but I mean, that'll help them get their inflation target. But once again, what are you actually going to be able to go buy if everybody running out there to try to get all types of things? So I wouldn't hold my breath on that one, but let's get some more calls. But great thought there. Let me get this going. Let me see. I had a call there. Feel free to give me a call back. It looks like I dropped a call or two. And also, I missed a super chat, so forgive me because it happened in the midst of my rant. Let me try to find that super chat so I can acknowledge it at least. Mark A., I appreciate that love offering, my friend, to the channel. Thank you for your support. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, Mike, it's Pete in Colorado.
Pete, how you doing, my friend? Give me some quick thoughts real quick.
Real quick is that, hey, remember George W. Bush sent 2 stimulus checks to stimulate the economy?
Yeah.
Obama got elected, Democratic sweep.
Yeah.
And 5 million people got kicked out of their homes, and the big banks got made whole, and absolutely nobody believes that's possible right now.
Oh, man. Good point, man. And so here's the thing with Joe Biden. You know, they're in a tight pinch right now because they're gonna come out with all types of bills, you know, like the $300 allowance bill and everything else bill. And so what do you think they're gonna end up doing when it comes to having to make whole all the mortgage, you know, payments and car payments and credit card payments? You think they're gonna roll that onto their newly merged balance sheet when they bring the Fed and Treasury together officially, or what? What are you gonna do with that?
No idea. I'm just calling attention that the consensus might be wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Bottom line is that if they wanted to send everybody the $1,400 or $2,000, they could have done it through a budget resolution, and they decided not to, so that they'll fight for months and nobody will get anything.
Yeah, that's
maybe,
very likely.
Maybe they'll just do nothing, and kick 5 million people out of their homes and make the big banks whole again.
And that's more than likely what I would expect. I will be surprised if they end up divvying out the way they say they're going to, because they're hyping us up like they did the last 8 or 9 months, and nothing got done until they sent people 600 or something like that. So, but hey, man, I appreciate you for calling in, my friend.
No worries. Take care.
Yep. Pete, good stuff, man. Yeah. So once again, they can promise this, say this, but once again, be careful what you wish for, because the more it comes and as it comes, once again, what are you going to do with it? And that's going to be the biggest thing. What are you going to do with it? Because you'll only have a small window of time to actually take advantage of being able to acquire real tangible things before more people catch on to what's really ultimately going to happen, where they're going to have to continue to prop up and provide instant stimulus. And that all reflects in the everybody looking for the same amount of resources. It says using UBI as bait to hand over your rights. Very true. Great thoughts there. What else we got here? It says just give the businesses grants instead and get capitalism going. Yeah, but see, here's the thing with that right here. Giving the businesses grants, of course, they attempted that with the PPP. We all saw how that turned out, because you can't really validate and to confirm all businesses are legit and that they're actually operating in the best interest of the people, because we got businesses that took those so-called loans and grants and barely paid their staff and bought, we got people out there buying Lamborghinis and all types of crap. So at this point, everything is emergency in nature, which means it's not thought out. It won't be well organized or ran. So they basically going to be throwing paper at the wall and hoping it stick. And of course, fraud will be the biggest thing, and it won't be effective, unfortunately. I think we're too late in the game to actually have any sound plan to actually help the people themselves, because it's not about us. It's not about we the people. It's about Wall Street and keeping those institutions whole, because everything is designed for them. So yeah, anyway, let's keep talking, man. Give me some calls. I'll be curious to hear what else is going on. Let me see. It says Goldie says Biden wants bipartisanship on the stimulus bill. Just ram this. Yeah. I think in due time. I think they preached a good game as far as them wanting to help the people to end poverty and all that good stuff like that. But I think from that left-right paradigm in Congress, I don't think they'll ever come into agreement on doing anything that will be available to the people in time. And then it'll never be enough, because even if they give, $300 per kid, what is that? I mean, that's probably 1 week of groceries. I mean, that's nothing. That's better than nothing, but it's not going to actually make anybody whole, because at this current moment, the cost of living, central banking policy, and the very concept in and of itself has far extended its reach to the point where the actual cost of everything we need and use has gone up significantly to where there's, unless you have more or you're in a position where you're not overly indebted in a destructive way to where your lifestyle is a little far less than the income coming in, you're going to always have that back and forth to where no amount of funds the government can give you can actually help in the long run. It's only going to further steal your purchasing power now. And the same kids they're trying to give $300 to now, it's basically an upfront payment on the future that they're stealing, or they already stole rather, with that 28 trillion. Because to get to that 300 monthly payment, you're going to have to add on an extra 1 point something per year. And assuming this 300 monthly direct payment will be emergency, as they say, to get us through this pandemic. But yet this is going to be an ongoing thing. So that's a good 2 trillion, just this package right here. So yeah, see, none of this actually makes sense. It makes sense when you look at it from a long historical standpoint in comparison to how every empire ends with war, currency debasement, and a complete monetary restructuring into something entirely new. That's what this is all about. It's a matter of how can they get us through this transition, restructure, and reset, or whatever it is that, the Build Back Better plan is designed to do without making it look like it's their fault. They want to blame it on, of course, the pandemic. And then they'll also say, whatever else is the excuse, but they'll never say it's the fact that we allow our national currency to be monopolized. Anyway, hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, Mike, it's Ricardo Givens from Missouri City, Texas.
Ricardo, how you doing, my friend? Give you some quick thoughts tonight, my friend.
Real quick, I called in earlier a few months ago about the slow burn and how the Social Security and all of that's going to get gone within a year's time. And
yeah,
it's right on track, my brother.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and I forgot about that as well. So yeah, we all those promises, man, every promise given out by Uncle Sam, as well as all the income earned and all the investments that the people were told to put into those products are promises as well to pay in the future. They're all being stolen from right now with all this early down payment, as Biden mentions about giving people funds now. It's basically saying because you have no future tomorrow. You have no financial future tomorrow in this current system. The way so anything that comes your way, basically you're getting paid up front. That's what it boils down to. And I feel sorry for retirees and pensioners and people who put into the system for the last 20, 30, 40 years, because those are the ones that, this small portion we're getting or going to get doesn't compare to the buku funds they put into the system. So, but anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. No, it's just the main point that, this stuff is escalating at a potential rate. And, like the UBI and the Social Security is not going to survive together.
Right.
And with that, people have to realize that what they want and what they need is two different things.
Yeah. Yeah. Very true.
No more brand new cars, no more used cars financing. It's going to be going back to old school ways.
Mm-hmm.
You got to pay cash. And if you're not thinking ahead with the hyperinflation that's getting ready to come around the corner real quick, and I'm guessing less than 4 months.
Yeah.
If you don't have a garden, you're going to be hungry.
Yeah. And that's a whole other can of worms, man. But hey, I appreciate you calling and sharing your thoughts, my friend. Good to hear your voice.
Yes, sir. Take care.
Be good. Yeah, man. All right. So I appreciate the back and forth tonight. It's definitely great to check in, chime in, hear some thoughts. And so I'm going to definitely try to, cut my ranting down to about 10 minutes so I can get at least 20 minutes of phone calls. So I know a lot more people have called in. I missed the calls. So I apologize. But I want to keep it to where, a smaller, a more condensed show so that we can try to get more in, because after a while it gets drawn out and it just becomes more a rant on my part. So forgive me. But anyway, hope you guys had a chance to connect on the chat and to share your thoughts via the calls. If you've enjoyed the back and forth and short insights, don't be afraid to hit that thumbs up button. Show your support for the channel, as well as want to make sure that you guys know where we also hang out at, where a lot of the articles I grabbed for tonight came from the Discord group. So if you go to the link beneath this video here, go to social media, click the Discord link, join the chat, share articles throughout the day. You can be directly plugged into the community, and we all get to see it in real time. So make sure you guys do that. And then also want to encourage you throughout the day, take a minute, go over to the RTD Rethinking Dollar page. Articles there daily, all the time. I put articles there of people I think worthy of hearing from, and keep it moving. But other than that, people, it has been great hanging out. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your evening, and we'll see you tomorrow, because tomorrow won't be exciting in a sense. But anyway, be blessed, be safe. I'll see you guys later. Peace. Hey there, sorry for this interruption, but I wanted to bring something to your attention. If you've been enjoying this live stream, why don't you partner with me and be a support to the channel via Patreon membership for just a minimum of $5 a month. All you have to do is scroll down beneath this video here, click the Patreon link, then consider donating as little as $5 a month towards the channel. A little bit of crumbs can go a long way, and I appreciate your support. Now, let's get back to this live stream.